The detail on that will come a little bit later on, but some of you will be aware that this is not our first involvement here at BT Tower with boxing. Back in November, we outlined the plan for a new involvement in the sport, and today we are here to give you the detail on that. I am not the person to do that, but our esteemed promoter, Mr. Frank Warren, is here to fill in the big picture and what it will all mean to our viewers on BT Sport in the coming years. So thank you, Frank, for being here. And the floor is yours. We'll start, if we may, with a schedule of events. Later, if I could just add, there will be questions for all the fighters concerned. Most of them are in attendance today, and you will get your chance to have a private word where necessary for all the media outlets. But Frank is going to give us the big picture first. Frank.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us here today. For me, it's quite a historic moment. I've been working very hard along with the team at BT to get us to the position we're in. As you know, last November, on the 11th of November, we announced what we intended to do. So today is our schedule of the first couple of months, and also some of the other fights that we will be announcing over the next couple of weeks. So we've got I believe, an exciting schedule of fights. We've got some real close 50-50 fights. It's for the fans, it's a boxing feast. And you know, BT for me is big time, and this is boxing, and this is where we are today to give you all the details.
Frank, just a word first of all, if I may, for Frank Warren at this stage of his colourful career, and you and I go back to, we think it's about 1981, and Frank Warren, the young tyro promoter, breaking the mould in British boxing, promoting a show just down the road here at the Bloomsbury Crest.
Regent Crest.
I apologise to all the shareholders. At the time, you were breaking the mould. All these years later, what's in it for you in terms of your output as a boxing promoter, and your chance now to go into homes maybe that you have not been going into in recent years?
Well, it's a massive challenge for me, and I've always never shied off of a challenge. You know, I work with a fantastic group of fighters, some of the best talent that the UK's seen in recent years, and some of the young talent who I believe are going to go on to be big stars. It's the challenge. It's bringing the fighters through. It's delivering the big fights to the fans. You know, I love the sport. I've said before, you know, with us, maybe my company, you cut us in half and it says boxing. It doesn't say anything else. We're in the boxing business. That's what we're here to do, to bring the best fights to the fans from around the world. And this for me is, I'm not as old as you think, but this for me is a tremendous opportunity to now move into a different area. I think we've been very innovative over the years. You know, going back to the days when you brought the fights into the cinemas, doing the very first pay-per-view shows in boxing in the UK, working with the first satellite channels back then. This is another ball game. This is where it's at. We've got a potential here with BT's customers with EE and their subscribers of getting to over 30 million people. We can take boxing into that. We want to make boxing what the sport that it was, a mainstream sport, and that's what our intention is, to get boxing really back on the map. It's doing fantastically well at the moment, but we know we can do better.
And what is the plan with regard to BT Sport and the household, the schedule for the year ahead, etc.?
Well, we've got up to 20 simulcast events between Box Nation and BT, and there'll be a number of other events on Box Nation, domestic events, another 10 fights, and then we'll do around 30 odd overseas shows, which we'll bring in. So it's, you know, it's mega. There's nobody else does it in the world that does this, what we're doing. So there's a fantastic opportunity for the fans to see not only the best from the UK, but from the best from around the world. And our opportunity for us is our young talent, looking at some of these up-and-coming fighters, say from America and whatever. You're going to know who they are by the time they get here to fight our guys. So that's, for me, is a major opportunity.
And for the next generation of fighters, do you view it as advantageous to their careers and their profiles that they will get the opportunity to get into more households earlier in their careers?
Well, of course they will.
Through BT.
Well, that's what's happening. You know, most of the channels are all about the other people who are involved in boxing. It's about the main event, and maybe the maybe a couple of support fights. We're starting kids that you're seeing from their first pro are going into homes, and they're the stars that we're building. With that tremendous amount of young talent. Boxing's really hot. There's some brilliant fighters out there, some great youngsters out there. It's bringing them through from day one, so the fans will recognise them from day one. And more important for the boxers is that they'll get seen. We're not going to break them after they've had 15 fights. It'll happen very quickly for them.
So let's start with the planned schedule for April on BT Sport.
April the 8th, we're at the MEN Arena in Manchester, and we'll be doing, sorry, he's waving to me there. On April the 8th, we're doing a show which features, what's he keep waving?
He's asking you to move over, Frank. Sit down, you've got the lights in your face.
Is that better?
No, Frank, we need to do this sitting down, darling. That's it.
Good start. Right.
April the 8th.
April the 8th, right, we're in Manchester, the MEN Arena. You've got Terry Flanagan defending his title against the WBO number 2, Pietro Petrov. Cracking fight, great fight, and obviously we'll talk about that more. We've got a brilliant domestic bust-up, because that's all I can call it, between Liam Williams and Liam Smith, the former world champion. That is a great fight, and that's a mouth-watering fight. We've also got a great undercard that we'll be announcing again in due course. And then we go on to the following, to the 22nd of April, and we're up in Leicester. We're breaking new ground in Leicester. And we've got Tyrone Nurse defending his title, and Tommy Langford, who's ranked number 2 in the world, defending his title. They're the April shows.
Thank you, Frank. So we have the pleasure of the company today of some of those main event fighters who are involved in this. I know Terry Flanagan is going to headline. Terry, would you mind coming up here? We'll have a little chat about what lies ahead for you in 2017. Terry Flanagan, everybody, the reigning and undefeated WBO World Lightweight Champion. Nice to see you again. Terry Flanagan has built this incredible record, unbeaten, and to echo Frank's point about exposure and profile, do you feel it is overdue that you've got a little bit wider acclaim for what you have done so far?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in big fights now. This is a big fight, and that's what I want, big fights.
Has it been hard for you over the last couple of years as you've racked up the wins and you've seen other people taking a share of the headlines?
Yeah, it's been hard because I've been promised big fights this year. I got promised them last year, they didn't quite happen, but Frank's done everything he can to get me them big fights, and this year he said that he's promised them me again. He's going to make them happen.
Did he promise you an easy title fight on BT Sport to start with? Because I don't think he's delivering that. From what we've seen at the Petrov race in the record, suggests that it is a tough
fight. It is a very tough fight, but to Terry's credit, he asked for a title. He's the he's got the longest undefeated record in British boxing, and he stepped up to the plate each time. And for him, this is a tough fight. And as I say, it's the fight he asked for, and it's the fight he's got.
And over the next couple of years, hopefully your prime years in terms of success, earning power, gaining more credibility, worldwide titles, etc. What does Terry Flanagan want to achieve now at this stage in his career?
Like I say, I want a unified division before I move up. I mean, I've probably got a year left at this weight, and then move up to 10 stone.
Have you told your promoter you're moving up to 10 stone?
Yeah, well, we've had a chat, but yeah, that's what I want, to move up eventually. But first of all, I want a unified division, and like he said about the fight with Petrov, I asked him for a tough fight because the last few fights they've been hard to get up for. This one, I know if I'm not 100%, it's a fight I'd lose. So
this man is to be applauded because he has never wanted it any other way than
No, he hasn't, and thankfully he's getting it in his hometown as well, so that's brilliant. It's Manchester, and I love Terry. He's done fantastically well. The way he won the title, every fight he's gone in as an underdog, he's won.
Yeah, and every fight I've had also in Manchester, I've got a knockout, so
yeah,
that's good.
Long may that.
Well, long may that continue, Terry. Very, very good news to have you on board with us on BT Sport, and we wish you every success. We know it's going to be hard against Petrov, but let's hope you do prevail, and it's the start of even greater things for you. Terry Flanagan, everybody, thank you very much. Thank you, Terry. Now, also, Frank, sharing that card in Manchester, the plan at the moment, things have moved on a little bit, haven't they? It's now super welterweight rather than light middleweight. Is that the correct way of describing it?
Well,
now?
as you said earlier,
the 11
I've been in the game. Was it 1981 we met? So to me, it's still light middleweight.
So Liam Smith scheduled to fight Liam Williams. Now I know that Liam Smith is here today, and I believe Liam Williams is here as well. If I may say, it's an early stage, and I'm not the promoter's spokesman, but this does shape potentially to be a British Fight of the Year.
Yeah.
So,
Without doubt.
So could I ask the two Liams if they'll join us on the stage for just a moment or two? Thank you, if you are here.
Yeah.
Certainly Liam Smith is here. You go ahead. Liam Smith, Liam Williams. Great to have your company here today. Thank you very much indeed. It's, I suppose, if it is to be a title fight, we should start with the man who's claimed the domestic honours, if you'll forgive me, in recent times. And you've come from nowhere to be in against one of the highest rated fighters in the division, in the world. What does that mean to you?
Oh, it's an amazing opportunity for myself. You know, I've moved on pretty fast, coming from being Commonwealth champion, British champion, and now I get the opportunity to fight Liam Smith, which is, he's obviously been world champion before, he knows what it's all about. It's just a massive opportunity for myself, and I can't wait, exciting times ahead.
Now for you, so much went so well. How have the last couple of months been for you on the back of the defeat, which was, for anybody in any doubt, one of the biggest fights of the year in the United States? Commercially, frankly, did wondrous things, didn't it?
It did, and I thought it was a great performance by Liam.
But nonetheless, a defeat against a man who is widely, checking last night, at this moment, pound for pound, #1 in many
Well, he is,
quarters.
but also Liam, he sustained a bad cut above his eye, and normally he wouldn't, you'd ask for a bit more time for that heel, and he wouldn't have any of that. He wanted to be in there, and he went in against Canelo, and I think he's given Canelo his toughest fight for a long time.
So in defeat, what do you take out of that?
You'll see what I've learned from it. The next time I step in the ring, and that'll be April the 8th. But I took it all in, all the build up. The fight in general didn't play out the way I wanted it to. I lost to a good fighter, but the camp I had was probably the worst camp in all my fights. But again,
And why was that? Because of the injury?
I've always had, fighters say they get niggly injuries and all that. And personally, I've never had them. I've never ever complained to camps, but that one, scans on my wrist, and obviously, it's well documented now the cut I had. But as a fighter, I said that the cut wouldn't bother me. It didn't bother me in the fight. It never ever run my eye. But when I look back, the cut killed me in camp. The 6 weeks that I missed the good sparring killed me. As in, a fighter will tell you need timing. Every fighter needs good timing, and my timing was way off. But again, I'll learn from that, and you'll see what I've learned from it.
And what do you make of the progress of the man to your left over the last 18 months? It's been rapid, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's come through everything asked of him. He's beat everyone in front of him, and he's improved quite fast over the last year. I expect him to improve. Like his coach, he's got a good coach in Gary Lockley. So it's nothing what I didn't expect him to do. Once he got to title level, I expected him to start improving. This fight was meant to happen for the British title. They weren't ready then. They've improved. They are ready now. So in April, you'll see whether he's ready to step up and take that next step towards the world title.
Fine words. Sometimes we don't need to build this fight up, but there is normally that little bit of edge between the two fighters. Is it a bit too early for that?
Everybody's on best behaviour today.
Everybody's on
But
best behaviour.
this will be a fight of the year. I'm convinced of that. It will be.
Liam Williams, last word on this one to you at this stage with best part of 2 months to get ready for it now.
Yeah, just really excited for the next couple of months ahead. Massive opportunity once again, and yeah, just can't wait for the opportunity.
Terrific. Ladies and gentlemen, Liam Williams, Liam Smith. If I might suggest, just for the benefit of the cameras here today, it is a little bit early for the head-to-head, etc., but we'll just get the two boys to stand up in front with Frank, and we'll give the photographers the chance to get a few good snaps of these two big British rivals.
All good?
Terrific. Thank you very much indeed to both of you. Frank mentioned the show in Leicester, the British middleweight title defence, Frank, by Tommy Langford. Tommy we have here today as well, I understand.
Yep,
Tommy, come and have a word with us. Thank you very much for joining us. Tommy Langford, everybody. Another rising star whose time in the spotlight has come. This is another young man who has worked his way up very diligently, didn't seek the limelight, but now the limelight comes to you. So great to have your company today. What does this opportunity mean to you to fight on BT Sport?
Oh, it's huge. You know, the exposure is going to be absolutely massive. It's great that the boxing's coming to the Midlands. You know, Leicester's only down the road. Obviously, I'm fighting Craig Cunningham, who's a Birmingham rival, so it's bragging rights as well. And you know, you won't be able to walk around Birmingham with your head held high. So I'll be doing that after the fight. But no, it's fantastic to be on BT Sport and to have this partnership formed. And you know, like Frank said earlier, it's going to take the sport to another level.
You're really on a roll now, aren't you? 2016 was very good for you. British title, Commonwealth title, and onward and upward now.
Yeah, just keep pushing forward. I've always been the sort of fighter to keep taking opportunities whenever they've been offered to me. Commonwealth offered, took it. British offered, took it. And like you said, it was a good year. We got through a few obstacles during the year, but got over the line and got the job done. And 2017 is going to be massive, so really looking forward to it.
And again, Frank, thank you very much indeed, Tommy. It is a card with two real big draws on it, because Tyrone Nurse also fights. Tyrone thought he wasn't going to get his moment in the spotlight, but who am I to argue with Tyrone Nurse? Come out here, Tyrone, please, and say hello to everybody. Grab a microphone on the air. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. Again, we're going into name checks here. Super lightweight or light welterweight? Anyway, you are 10 stone, even if maybe you don't quite look it today. I won't pry any further on that. It's all well.
Yeah, all's well. We've had a good Christmas now. We're ready to get back into action and back into camp now. So we've got a date. So looking forward to cracking on and putting on a show for the BT Sport.
How much have you enjoyed the last 18 months when you have consolidated? I think maybe some people were doubtful he would be able to do that, Frank. Win one, yes, but not necessarily consolidate.
Everything's been done with him. He's stepped up and done it each time. And he's one of those guys that's done it, not in the limelight. He's had to come through the hard way, and that stands him in good stead. So we're looking forward to seeing his debut on BT, and it's going to be a great night in Leicester, which is breaking new ground for us. We've not promoted in Leicester, I don't think, for about 25 years. So we're going to try and get that back to being the hotbed in boxing.
And longer term, with BT Sport, of course, what is achievable? What are your ambitions now?
I mean, obviously everyone's got the same ambitions. You've just got to look at Terry and Billy Joe. They're up there now, and that's where we all want to be. Me, Tommy, Josh Warrington, all the rest of us. That's where we want to be. We all want to be at the world level boxing, the top boys, putting in the best we can against the best. And and that's where we all want to be, and that's where I want to be.
Tyrone, terrific, and thanks to you, Tommy, as well. We wish you all the very best as part of the stable here on BT Sport, and it all starts in late April for both of you. Thank you very much to Tommy and Tyrone. Thank you very much for being here. And Frank, the schedule moves on rapidly, Frank, to May. So the details on the two shows you have planned for BT Sport viewers in May, please.
Right, we get into May, and then we're going on the 6th of May at the Copper Box, where Bradley Skeet will be fighting Singleton, defending his title. There'll be another couple of other title fights to be announced, and then we're not announcing all the cards at the moment. There's still fights to be announced on some of these shows that we are talking about today. And then we move to the 13th of May to Leeds, where Leeds' own Josh Warrington, who I'm really delighted has come over and joined our camp. He will be on that card fighting Michael McConnor. So that's a cracking fight. And Josh has been out for a while. He had an injury, so I'm looking forward to seeing him in action in Leeds, and looking forward again to breaking new ground and getting boxing on a regular basis going in that area.
And let's find out if they are looking forward to it as much as we are. If I could ask both of the two chaps there, Bradley, if you're with us. I knew you were, yes. I think that's called a planted question. Bradley Skeet, everybody. Welcome, Bradley. And also, I believe Josh is with us. Josh Warrington, if we could call Josh up as well. Josh Warrington. Thank you, Josh. And Josh is the best dressed man in the room. Well done. Great to have you here, Josh. To you first, Bradley. I think within the trade of boxing, you have been hugely respected over the last 5, 6, 7 years. But was there a moment when Bradley Skeet said to himself, I've got to start pleasing a few more people? in terms of fans and your style?
Yeah, definitely. I started off just taking my time a bit. Was getting criticised a lot for not having the punching power to stop people. I've always known I've had the power there, but it was taking that criticism on board and then putting it into my performances, and I think it's shown now.
Frank, did you have an input in that? Did you try to make Bradley more of a TV fighter, Frank?
Yeah, I'll be very honest with you. What Bradley does in the ring, certainly early days, he does it well. But as you just said, it was great boxing, but maybe the fans didn't appreciate it so much in the early days. So we had a good talk about it, and he went out and done the business. He went out and knocked out. Stopped about the next 7 on the trot. So he took it on board, went and done the business, and he's up there knocking on the door now. You think he ranks in the top 5 in the world, so it's onwards and upwards. And there are some really good fights for him out there. So hopefully later on in the year, provided he comes through on the 6th, then we'll be looking to make some big fights for him.
And of course, Copper Box Arena, we were there a little bit so far.
Yeah.
It is going to be a truly tremendous venue for big nights of boxing in the years ahead. Bradley, thank you very much indeed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the travails of Leeds United over the last 15 years don't need me to repeat. And in that sorry era for the city's #1 football club, one of the few genuine success stories is this young man down the end here, the fighting pride of Leeds, truly, Josh Warrington. And Josh, in no time at all really, English, British, Commonwealth champion, and you would still say perhaps that this is only the start for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think we went through rankings pretty quickly in terms of 2 or 3 years. I'd won everything there is to win apart from a world title. I'd gone from little and unknown to headlining the big arena shows in Leeds, and ranked very highly in all world governing bodies. But I haven't been out for a while, and time is still on my side. I've still got plenty of time to get going. I mean, we haven't got started, and I feel like I've got a new lease of life about me now. I'm excited to get the next stage of the career started.
It was late July, wasn't it, when you fought last?
Late July, I was back out, yeah.
Have you enjoyed that little break? Sometimes that's not a bad thing.
It's been alright, it was nice to go away. I got married, I went away, but then I missed it because I had momentum going. I had a good win against Amagassa, beat Padre Island, put a good performance on there. And you want to build on top of that, and I did the normal just routine of like being a jobless person, and I didn't enjoy it. Watching Jeremy Kyle every morning is not really my cup of tea.
Presumably your missus was saying you could go out and earn a living for us.
Yeah, she did say that. She said just giving me DIY jobs to do in the house and stuff like that, but that's not me. I like to get punched in the face and punch other people in the face, but I'm a boxer, it's what I'm doing. It's not a long career, and we're at a stage now where the world title's there or thereabouts, and I really want to get onto that. So I'm going to knuckle down and have a busy year this year.
Frank?
And that's our job, Leeds United football ground, Josh fighting for that title. I mean, it'll be banged out. He's a big ticket selling fighter. Leeds, the stadium up in Leeds the atmosphere is unbelievable when he gets into the ring. So for me, I'm really excited about it. And the most important thing, he's a great fighter, and he's got great potential, and hopefully we go all the way with him. But I must say, the missus said all the shells fell down that you put up. So.
Terrific. And one last word. It's an incredible drawing power that you do have in Leeds. And we have to think back a long, long way to see the like of it in that big area.
It's like a Ricky Hatton, the early days of Ricky Hatton. When we were promoting Ricky in the early days in Manchester, it just built and built and built, and suddenly, it just was a fantastic event. And that's the same thing with Josh. And we're part of the way there because he's got the following. His manager Steve was brilliant. His dad Sean, they got fantastic. They build on there. They kept building and building. It's our job now to make that even bigger. And for us, the big thing for us is to get the Leeds United football ground and get in there, bang that out, and he comes out away with the prize, the world title.
Terrific. And the opportunity now to appear on BT Sport, to get into all those other households. I know BT Sport's got a really good profile in the Leeds area, actually, although there's no Premier League football team at the moment, but you seem to be the very man to take it forward.
Yeah, I'm excited to do that. It's like I say, it's part of being the flag bearer, and I'm looking forward to that challenge. Obviously, a lot of people have heard about the atmosphere and the support that we have, and myself as well doing the business in the ring, and now it's a chance for people to have a little glimpse of that on TV and see what it's all about. You know?
Tremendous, Josh. Thank you very much indeed. And also to Bradley Skeet, and we hope that for both of you, this is now the next phase in your career, having dominated in terms of Great Britain. It's onward and upward into world class, we hope, for both of you two. On which point, Frank, obviously a promoter running any business has to spread his net wide, so you've given a great deal of thought to where you're going to find your next world champions. Would you care to elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a fantastic group of fighters that are here today, and they're all here, and I'm sure we're ready to talk about them. We want to talk about the Leeds show first?
Well, we have Hughie Fury.
Yeah.
Why don't we get Hughie up here
Right,
and take a time to talk to Hughie first. Hughie, come and join us. I don't think it will need to be elaborated that Hughie is in fact a heavyweight, ladies and gentlemen, and he is from that very self-same fighting family, unbeaten. And Hughie, the plan for 2017, what is your ambition? What do you want to achieve this year?
To be champion of the world, to be WBO champion. I'm already mandatory position, so fight I want is Parker. So hopefully that goes my way, and that's it. I want to fight the best, and I believe Parker is one of the best out there. So this is my road now. So I'm just taking one step at a time. I've had all my learning fights and everything, so I'm ready for these big fights. This is what I want. I want to prove myself. I just don't want to be a talker. I want to let my fist do the talking, and I'm ready for this.
Where do we stand with making this happen?
Well, he's the mandatory challenger. We're negotiating at the moment with Joseph Parker's people from New Zealand, and I believe we've got an excellent chance of putting the fight on in the UK, and that's what we're working towards. I've got the utmost faith that Hughie can become world champion. He's got tremendous pedigree. As an amateur, he won the World Youth Championship. He's the cousin, as we all know, of Tyson. So you've got to think about all the camps that Tyson's had preparing for his world title fights in his career. Hughie's been there, so he's been sparring with some of the best young fighters in the world. And for me, he's ready to go. And I think him and Parker in this country, he's got a great chance of becoming world champion. So we will be announcing some details of that probably within the next 6 or 7 days. So keep our fingers crossed, it'll be here on BT.
That sound all right to you?
It sure does.
You're still relatively young, of course, for a heavyweight, and you from an amazing fighting background, a lot of heavyweight quality in the family background. Is that a pressure to you, or is that something that you rely on when it's hard? Maybe out of the way of the limelight sometimes, you know, when there's no cameras around. When we know that fighters have their down times. Is it helpful to you that you've got people around you who know what it's like?
Yeah, it's no pressure really. This is what I've been brought up to do. I'm in the fighting family. This is what I've been lived to fight. So this is just another day in the park for me. So when I fight, it's just I've had all the experience with Tyson fighting for his world title. I've had the best of experience with sparring. I've had it all. I've fought the best in sparring. So I'm just ready now to pick up my game and fight the best.
Terrific, really good to have you here today. And Frank, the other big names that are part of the stable, well-established stars who are already making a big impression at world level, what have you got in mind? We won't necessarily hold you to all the details, but what have you got in mind?
Well, we've got a couple of fighters, unfortunately, are not here today because of various reasons. One being Liam Walsh. Liam Walsh is the mandatory challenger to Gervonta Davis. I don't know if anybody's seen that fight on Box Nation within the last, it was on last week, and he's with Floyd Mayweather. They're saying that he's the new coming of American boxing. We will see, because he's got to fight our man, and again we're in negotiations with that to bring that fight here. Whatever happens, I'm quite sure that fight will be shown on BT. So it's a big fight, and add Floyd Mayweather to it, you know, you're going to get some plenty of controversy around it. But Liam Walsh has a great opportunity of becoming world champion. You know, a lot was said about Jeff Lacey when he fought Joe Calzaghe, that Joe Calzaghe would get well beaten by Lacey. You know, the Brits, let me tell you something, when it comes down to it, we know they can dig deep, and I know that Liam Walsh can dig deep.
Billy Joe Saunders, what is in the pipeline?
Right, Bill's here, as we know, and what's in the pipeline for him is he'll either defend his. I would think probably early next week, Monday, Tuesday next week. It'll be a significant fight, a very significant fight, and I'm sure you're all going to be pleased with what you hear. It will be a great fight, and Bill's here. He's been very patient. He had a bad year last year through injuries and being messed around by Chris Eubanks, who decided to have the fight whenever he's having out next time. But Bill's here. He'll fight anybody, and you can't get a better gladiator than him as a stepping up.
Let's call the gladiator to the stage. The one and only Billy Joe Saunders, ladies and gentlemen. I know he needs... Thank you very much, Huey Fury. And I know he needs little introduction, and I know the Best Dressed Man Award has already gone elsewhere, but we all know who you are without the orange t-shirt.
Today, to be honest with you.
Somebody might have said you were just back from Marbella.
No, not yet, not yet. First of all, just like to thank BT Sport for getting behind everybody in the stable. You know, I'm sure they're going to be very, very happy with the fight that's going to be put on. Especially my one's going to be hopefully announced next week. It's been a long time waiting for this big fight. I think my biggest fight was back in 2014, and obviously I won the world title. But I think next week is going to be a big game changer for me.
Frank alluded to it already. I mean, we all know it's never been a straight road with you, but you keep on producing when you have to do it, in remarkable fashion, actually. But the latter part of 2016, were there any positives to take from that?
You know, apart from terrible performance, no, not a lot really. Listen, I think that, you know, I've been very unlucky with a few big fights. I've always been there, Frank, to tell you. I've always had my pen in hand ready to sign. But, you know, it's the boxing gods. Sometimes that big fights just don't happen because they're not meant to at the time. I'm a believer in that. But, you know, my time, I come on world champion. If I've got to defend until one comes along, you know, so be it. But I know that we're very, very close on touching distance of making a big fight.
You've also been very steadfast in your loyalty to your promoter, actually, through some difficult times.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've signed with Frank from day one. You know, he's got me where I'm at today, so, you know, you've got to take it off to him. And I was just thinking there, funny enough, I can remember when we went to the Box Nation launch the first time, and, you know, sitting back there, how fast it's gone, it seems like yesterday, but time flies. But, you know, I can't thank Frank enough and the team, because at the end of the day, I'm sitting here WBO world champion and with some big fights ahead of me.
How do you view the top 5, 6, 7 middleweights, your direct rivals, if you wanted to try to unify the titles up the road? Give us your pen sketch of their strengths and your own idea of the ratings. I think we all know who, with every respect to you, the number one is at this moment. But how do you beat him if you fight him, Golovkin?
Well, you know, without giving too much away, I think that with Golovkin, there's a lot of people, when they get in the ring, they pants it before they even step in the ropes. They're a beaten man, and to be honest with you, I haven't seen somebody box Golovkin what's got a little bit of art, a little bit of stand up. You know, when he's walking them down and beating on them, they just give in, take it. Me personally, I'm not sitting here saying I'm the man to go and do that, I'm the man to do this, because I'm not like that. I'll back my talk up, but he would not be bullying me. That's for one, sir, because if I have to ram an elbow in, I will. I'll do anything I can to hold him off of me. I don't care. But, you know, he won't be bullying me, definitely not. And I think that he used a lot of that mentality. Listen, he's the best fighter on the planet, in my opinion. But to be the best, you're not ever going to get given it. You've got to beat the best. And obviously, he's the man that I want.
The rivalry that captivated the country, 2 years ago with Chris Eubank Jr., now that he has gone up to super middleweight, is there a part of you that says, well, if it takes this, I will go up to super middle to chase him?
Never in a million years. I wouldn't chase him because he's. I've beaten him already. He's fighting at he dissed me for fighting at a leisure centre. Now, the only reason why I boxed at a leisure centre is because of my own fault. Nobody else's. Frank and my management, MGM, thought. Well, I was going to get stripped if I didn't, so I had to fight there. But he's trying to put a pay-per-view event on there, which is conning and robbing the fans. He's fighting a bum, to be honest with you, that genuinely probably works at the leisure centre. So you can't really go on to about that. I don't need to chase him. I'm world champion. you know, I don't want to bother chasing him. He's nothing to me. He's bright me.
Could we use your scriptwriter next week?
Yeah.
That was very, very good. I can't outsell you. You're amazing. Tremendous. Thank you. Excellent to see you as always. Onward and upward then into 2017 on BT Sport. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Joe Saunders, thank you very much indeed. And before we move on, Frank was giving me the old-fashioned eye. Stick to the script, son. There are a few others you'd like to mention before we go on to today's big announcement.
Another fight we're quite close to putting together is Paul Butler, who unfortunately isn't here today. For some reason, there's a mix-up on our end, so he's not here. But Paul Butler, I'm hoping will be fighting McDonald for his title in the new year. We've made a great offer for it, so it's a great fight. And again, these are the fights that we want to bring the fans. Don't let politics stand in the way of them. Make the fights happen, because that's what the fans want. They want to see the best, fighting the best.
Thank you, Frank. And before we close, ladies and gentlemen, we will be introducing you to some of the new talents that Frank has been busy trying to assemble and add to the roster over the next couple of years. Hopefully they will all get their turn to feature on BT Sport. But to the major announcement of the day, Frank.
Well, I'm here eating humble pie today because I've not been the greatest advocate of women's boxing, but we're here today because my head's been turned for the fantastic achievements that this young lady has done in the sport. The fact that she's a double gold medal, Olympic gold medalist, that is in itself a massive achievement, and she has changed my mind about women's boxing. So I'm delighted to say that we are introducing today Olympian, 2 times gold medalist, Nicola Adams, and I am delighted she's on board.
So ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Nicola Adams, OBE, MBE, and Frank Warren's newest signing. Welcome, Nicola. Welcome to BT Sport. Meet your new promoter. He's the boss, actually, from today. The name is Boss. Please sit. Great to have your company here. You have had many opportunities over the last 5-6 years to turn professional. So why now?
Yeah, after winning the gold in 2012, I decided that I wanted to stay amateur and continue my career as an amateur, just because I wanted to leave the amateur game a world champion as well as a double Olympic champion. So I decided to stay to fulfill my goals. I wanted to be a double Olympic champion, world champion, and leave ranked #1 as well.
You are a star in and out of the ring already. So what is in it for you turning professional when you've already achieved that status by fighting in the amateurs?
Well, my hero was Muhammad Ali, and I said from the first time I saw him box on a rerun, I saw him box in the Olympics and then go on and become a world champion as a pro. I said that's exactly what I wanted to do as well. So I wanted to turn pro and find a team that believes in my dream, Frank Warren and BT Sport and Box Nation, and take women's boxing to the next level and become a world champion and do great things.
How different is it going to be from fighting in the amateurs?
I think it's going to be quite different. No headgear for one, and I have to find my own team now. With the amateurs, you have everything just given on the table to you. There's doctors, there's physios, everything is just there. And now I have to create my own team, but I'm really excited about doing that, having my own team, knowing that we're all working together, we're all working to achieve the same goal, and which is to make me a world champion and take women's boxing to the next level.
I was lucky enough to be in Rio for the Olympics, and watching you in the final compared to London, the one thing that really struck me about how you dominated the tournament in Rio in a way you didn't do in London. London was hard work and there was enormous pressure because you were the home star, of course, but you dominated the tournament from the first bell of the first contest through to winning that gold medal. Is that the difference in maturity, ring craft, knowledge, judgment of pace in the fight? Because you had it where you wanted it, really.
Yeah, definitely. Going into Rio, I already had the experience. I knew what it was like to go to an Olympics. I knew what it was like to qualify. I know what the pressure's like. I knew who I was going to be up against. I knew it was going to be a lot harder this time round because I was going in ranked #1 and I was the one to beat. But it gave me the motivation to train harder and to know that this is what I want to achieve. I want to be a double Olympic champion. So I knew when I went into the ring that I was going to give 110% every time. But you have that. I think going in the second time, you're a lot more confident just because you know what it's about. You don't feel as anxious, like, oh, I've just been caught with a shot, okay, I need to get this point back, I need to, you take your time, and you're a lot more focused, I felt.
That was very evident, I thought, at the time. Now, Frank, Nicola has tried to outline what she intends to try to do for you. What do you intend to do for Nicola?
Well, she'll be making her debut on the 8th of April at the MEN Arena in Manchester, on the same card as Terry Flanagan and the two Liams. And then she'll be doing her homecoming on the 13th of May with Josh Warrington. So that's going to be a great night for Leeds. Leeds own, the two of them, two heroes. That's going to be a fantastic night. So the plans are get those fights out the way, and I think that Nicola's be in a position where she'll be within a year, more or less, challenging for a world title. I believe she has the ability.
Is that actually the key word for you at this stage? Challenge. Because all your life, in and out of boxing, you have been challenged. You had to break down barriers and stereotypes in your personal life. Getting as a woman into boxing, showing that a woman can represent their country, showing that a woman can win medals, amateur, for their country. Is that what drives Nicola Adams, the next challenge?
Yeah, it is. It's the next challenge. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people here would have thought, who would have thought me and Frank could be sat up here on the same team. But it's nice to see I've been able to change his mind. And
did he hurt your feelings?
No. He
said about women in boxing.
He gave me more motivation, even more motivation to be sat here right now next to him. And who knows? We might even see the softer side of Frank now.
Trust me, it's only when the cameras are on.
For me, listen, as I said at the beginning, I'm eating humble pie because it's never appealed to me women's boxing. But when you look at what Nicola done, certainly in the Olympics, and you're getting a cab, all the cab drivers, some I'd know, some, and they talk to you about the sport, always mentioning Nicola, and I'm sitting there thinking, listen, are you a dinosaur? Are you burying your head in the sands? It's here, and the way she fights and the way she's transformed the sport, I think in the last, 5-6 years from watching women's boxing, it's been amazing, and I've always appreciated, not just Nicola, any ladies who are fighting. The training is hard. To dedicate yourself and all your endeavours to try and win things. You can't knock that in any shape, nor would you want to knock it. But what she's done is, for me, turned my head around and said, right, women's boxing is here. We're on BT. Who am I to be the person to say I'm not going to do women's boxing on BT? No one's allowed to watch it. That's not going to happen. She's here, and I'm delighted to be involved in this. And we're going to have a good fun time. Taking her all the way to the top. She's got the ability, there's no doubt about it. I think she could probably win a world title now, but that's not what it's about. It's about coming through, learning and learning her trade. But the bottom line is, I'm very, very happy to be involved here.
Terrific. And if you permit me, last word from you. Now you're in the pro game, you have to sell it. So, and you don't really need to sell yourself, but to Leeds, to Great Britain, to BT Sport, Nicola Adams, the future. Your last word.
I'd just like to say thank you to everybody that's followed me thus far in my amateur career, and hopefully you'll continue to follow me into the pro ranks. There's exciting fights coming up. I'm going to be enjoying the adventure, and I'm sure I'll be able to bring some exciting fights to the arenas. I'd just like to say, come along. 8th of April, I'll be there, Manchester Arena, doing the most. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. Fantastic. Nicola Adams, the one and only. Thank you very much for being Nicola. Tremendous. Well done, Nicola. You've got this pro game down to a T already. No problem. Well done. Thank you very much indeed. And of course, a star in her own right already, Frank. We've spoken about your British champions aspiring to the next level. Billy Joe Saunders and so on who are up there already, but it is your business to go out, use your contacts and find the youngsters, the next generation, and you've been pretty busy in that respect. We're going to introduce 2 or 3 or 4 of the young men you have found who you believe in.
Well, we've got a great group of young fighters that I'm really excited about, and they're definitely going to become stars of tomorrow. There's no doubt about it. And then some of them are making their name now in the sport, and some have done it at the amateur level. But they are a fantastic, talented bunch of fighters. I'm sure when you introduce them and bring them up here, they'll tell you where they're at. But this, for me, is what boxing is all about. It's bringing the guys through. It's guiding their careers. That's what I get a big kick out of. Finding the right fights, making the right moves at the right moments, and that for me is going to be the big challenge.
So, folks, here they come, all of them at once now. So I'll just ask them to come forward, and we'll get a quick word with each of them. And before we do this, I will just remind everybody there will be the chance to get a one-to-one if you require that. Photos also, but they are available for interview outside in a little while at the round tables. But I'll just ask Anthony Yard, Leon Woodstock, and it is Leon Woodstock. Zelfa Barrett, and that's a famous name, Barrett. Daniel Dubois, and do we have the gender?
I don't think we've got Mitchell Smith, Josh Lever.
Okay, so I'll just get a word with a couple of them, but if you'll just put your hands together for all these young men who are starting out in the heart.
Aspiring to do a world title fight, very hot prospect. Shoot out the seat.
Okay, well that's up to Frank. Is Frank approving of that?
Where
Or
are
not?
you, Lorraine?
Get up here.
Come on then. Strictly speaking, without his manager's licence, he's not actually entitled to do that, Billy Joe Saunders, but we'll get him away with it.
He's beat me up a few times.
Okay, so just say hello to everybody from the far end, introduce yourselves, tell us what you've done and where you intend to go in this exciting future.
I'm Mitchell Smith. Is that on? Yeah. I'm Mitchell Smith, former WBO Intercontinental Champion and WBO European Champion, and I'm excited to...
Which weight, Mitchell?
At super featherweight.
Good luck.
And cruiser. And I'm looking forward to getting on some big fights. I need to sort my rematch out and get that, put my wrong right, and then move on to become a world champion in a couple of years.
Frank?
He can do it. It's all about discipline. That's what they all need to know. Discipline is what it's all about. There's no shortcuts in boxing. And Mitchell thankfully found that out with the new trainer now, Adam Booth, and who's training Billy Joe Saunders, by the way. So that's great.
Terrific.
He was the voted best young fighter of the year by the boxing writers.
Well, that is a wonderful accolade. Congratulations for that. The very best of the best have won that over, 30, 40 years. Next to you, we have...
Yeah, my name's Lauren Richards. Sniper the Boss. I'm former 9-time national amateur champion. I'm 5-0 as a professional now, and I box at super middleweight.
Terrific, thank you very much indeed. And on we go. This man really doesn't need...
I'm Vijender Singh. I'm Asia Pacific champion. I'm from India and world number 10 right now. And this year we just keep winning, and that's our main focus.
I must say, with every respect to you, I find this rather surreal that Vijender Singh has to sit in the West End of London and introduce himself, because this man...
Because last fight we had in India, like last 2 fights, like 7th and 8th fight was India, like in Delhi, and again we happened in Delhi. Yeah.
This man is a superstar, a demigod in India, and here he is trying to work his way.
Thanks to Francis, I think. Yeah, Francis.
Well, it's fantastic to have you over here, and I hope the weather meets your approval. But I see you've had to
super
put on a scarf.
Super
Brilliant.
He's going to fight in Leicester. That's going to be a great night again. You know, he turned the lights on for the Diwali festival up there.
Brilliant.
There's about 60,000 people showed up.
Well, I'm sure, no disrespect, but I know Leicester. I went to school there. You've probably got quite a few family members somewhere there. I would know that, actually. Next to agenda.
I'm Zalfa Barrett, 14-0. I fight in the super featherweight division, 8 knockouts. Nephew of Pat Barrett, for European and British champion.
The one and only.
The one and only Pat Barrett.
Yeah, man, the one and only. Manchester's best, I believe, and they call me the Brown Flash.
So from the Black Flash, the one and only Pat Barrett, to the Brown Flash. Stylistically, are you like Uncle? Or not?
Nah, we're nothing like each other. We just share the same name. I try not to be like him,
But I asked the Furies, you know, the family strength there, is that a help to you too, the Barrett family boxing background?
Yeah, of course, it's been in my life, boxing, my mum, my uncle, so it's set a base where I need to be and where I want to be.
Amazing, fantastic. Now let's introduce, not only is he dressed the part in that amazing waistcoat, but he's got a bit of confidence, because he caught me before the press conference and said, you better get my name right. So Leon, say hello to everybody.
Yeah, my name's Leon Woodstock Jr. I'm 8-0 as a pro, 4 knockouts. I fight out of Leicester City, I fight for Leicester Unity, and also my coach, Papa Hodge, over there. So yeah, just on my journey, innit? Doing my thing.
All these bright smiles, these bright hopes, Frank.
Lovely. I'll tell you what, he's exciting. I mean, they're all exciting. And Leon Moran, by the way, exciting. You know, these guys are quality, but you're going to like him. He's fighting again on the Leicester show, and make sure you watch it, because you're seeing some of the stars of the future, and he's certainly going to be one of them.
Well,
yeah, definitely, because now I'm going to start fighting more like opponents, so I can start taking some jaws now.
Good work. And to your right, say hello.
My name's Anthony Yard, light heavyweight prospect. I'm 9-0 as a professional, 8 knockouts. Still BT Sports is massive for exposure. Box Nation, BT Sports, it's the future.
Well, he's a charming young man. I've looked into his background a little bit, and he's a bit too modest. That's his only problem, because this is a man who could have chosen one of 3 careers as an athlete, potential footballer. What was your best 100-metre time?
Just under 11 seconds.
Yeah, so schoolboy sprinter champion. So why boxing? Why?
Well, I think
it's hard, you know.
I think boxing was just set up in all aspects. You know, where I grew up, always had to, you was forced to defend yourself sometimes. And I built up a bit of a reputation as, again, a puncher. So, yeah, I've taken that in a professional way, and yeah, I've changed my life around.
Fantastic. And we wish you the very best.
And he can punch. Dynamite in both hands. I mean, he can punch.
We'll get to the lads with the power in just a moment or two, but first we'll come to the very end of the queue and say hello to everybody. No, we'll do it this way around, actually. Say hello to everybody.
I'm Josh Levitt. I'm 11-0, 5 KOs, and look forward to the next fight. Hopefully I'll have a title fight soon in the next fight or so, look forward to the future, to everything.
And Josh, would you like that to... We talked, like, for example, to Josh Warrington about building your hometown crowd and getting everybody to back you. That's begun to happen from what I've heard.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of fans from the North East now, and they're starting to follow me all the way around the country. So I'm looking forward to what's next.
And but there's been a bit of a gap really for somebody in that area of the country.
Well, that's again an area that we're talking about. We'll be putting a show on up there in June. And he's going to be the man up there leading the charge. We want to take the fights back to the fans, back to the towns, you know, back to the North East. It's a great hotbed of boxing. They're great fans, and we're going to be there. And he's got a twin brother here who's sitting over there, Callum, by the way, who's he's a bit handy himself.
Well, we should mention that.
We can't get them all up on the stage, unfortunately, but.
And we have our own Tower of Power with us, finally, ladies and gentlemen. Introduce yourself, please.
My name's Daniel Dubois. I'm 19 years old, heavyweight, and I was part of the GB podium squad, and I've gone professional now. And looking forward to my debut, 1st of April. Yeah.
This man comes with a huge reputation, and I know for very good reasons we have to temper our expectations, number one. And first, Daniel, you could have had it easier. You could have waited until after the next Olympic Games to turn professional. You're very well looked after in Sheffield. Why have you turned your back on all of that to go into this hard game so early?
Well, my dream before when I started boxing was always to be a world heavyweight champion. And now that I got a chance to work with one of the best promoters, I think, in the business, Frank Warren, I just took it and just, pursue my dream.
Was there something, you know, an incident perhaps in sparring, or you've obviously been around the camp in Sheffield, that you've looked at the level and thought, actually, I can handle that and I can handle it now, so I'm going to go for it? Is that what happened?
Definitely. I've sparred Anthony Joshua, of course, world heavyweight champion, Olympic silver medalist Joe Joyce, and I've done well with all those. I quit myself well, and they were good spars. And from there, I see I can mix it with probably every heavyweight in the world.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think, Frank, it's fair to start putting times frames on it or a route forward, because we know how difficult it can be. But do you feel you've got raw material in this young man?
I do.
To repeat what you've done earlier in your career?
Yeah, I think we have, and but we're not focusing on that. It's no rush. It'd be great if he could become the youngest world heavyweight champion. That's I'm sure every heavyweight would like to be that, and he has a great opportunity. But it's not going to be a rush. It comes through. He's going to learn his trade. He's done very well in the amateurs, and as you mentioned earlier, he's acquitted himself against some good professionals in sparring. But pro game is totally different, and he's got to learn. I'm quite sure. I think he's a fast learner, and he'll come through. And he's making his debut on the 8th of April on that show in Manchester. So that is a fantastic night. We have some seriously good fights, some good debuts, and some excitement up there.
Well, terrific. And just one further reminder, everybody, that all these young men and the stars who are also with us today are all available for interview out the back of the round tables. We will move to a photo session next, so the boys are all available here. I just want to thank Frank for the opportunity to work with Frank again on behalf of BT Sport, all the young men here, and to Flanagan, Billy Joe Saunders, Hughie Fury, and the rest of you for being here. Let's make the future bright on BT Sport. Thank you everybody for being here.